Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching About Coloring with ILene Vick. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Okay. It is sneezy. It is Monday, February 19th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. It is week 8 of 2024, and in my neck of the woods, it is currently 40 degrees with a high of 54 and a low of 25. Thank you, Monkey. Yes, God does bless me. Welcome, welcome to my broadcast. I'm here for the next 3 hours for coloring, companionship, chat, friendship, giggles and laughs, pretty pictures, chat, and of course, showing how and why, the how of coloring, and then why I did what I colored. Welcome to my YouTube peeps who come in and chat with me. That is always fun. And welcome to my YouTube peeps who watch this broadcast after the fact. And welcome to my Facebook peeps who will see this broadcast when I download it to my group Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Now, to my YouTube peeps, I've started posting my pictures in the community section. So when I'm done coloring something for the night, I'll go ahead and post those there. And then that way you guys can take a peek at them. And see what we've been doing. All right. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. Happy Monday to one and all, says Maggie. Maggie likes to sing her way into the group. All right. So, tonight I'm continuing on my Rusty Lady. Now, for those of you that are new, I do 2 pieces an evening. The first piece is called a duet piece, which means you can get it for free and color along with me. I always suggest that you pace me. That's part of the learning process. And then the second piece, which of course I can't supply because it's from another artist. This is from Enchanted Forest, Elena Lazareva. And I've been working my way through this. I don't have too much more to go on it. And then when I'm done with this, of course, I will make available or, start another piece for you guys to see. And if you have the book, you can do that with me. Hi, Mamie. All right. I feel like I've forgotten something and I don't know what. But anyway, check the areas, check the community area, and you guys can see the picture when I'm done with it for the evening. All right. How's everybody doing? Win, lose, or draw? I'm going to say draw. Let me get my pencils. And my scratch sheet. Let's see here. Now, if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Maggie, you said draw. How's Allie doing? Hopefully she's slowly getting better with her medication. Allie's granddaughter got a UTI, unfortunately, so she's being treated for that. All right, hold on. Let me move some pencils around here. She's doing great? Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right. Now, again, for anybody that's new, this picture is available in my Facebook group. Search under the term, do a search in the group under New Duet, and you'll see this piece, and then you'll see the next one that I put up when I do put it up. Hi, Annie. Annie, did you get my email? The medical book has been submitted for review by Amazon. And it'll be available when they do their thing to it. Okay. So last night I was working my way down on the skin. And I've been using my oranges, my light, medium, and dark orange. Now, anytime you guys want me to swatch pencils, I'll be more than happy to do that. And last night I had my skin tone that I worked down here. And now I'm going to come back. And I'm going to start working my light, medium, and dark oranges on this area. Now, the reason that I put the skin tone down first is because I wanted to have that come through as a hint. That this lady is still partially human. So now, by adding my lighter orange, that shows that transition that she's going through. Now again, for anybody that's interested, you can get this image out of my group and you can start coloring it by looking at my previous broadcasts. All right. And the reason that I picked up this piece and chose it to do is by doing something that is out of the ordinary, it causes you to focus on the coloring of it. And the reason that I say that is because we're doing different things. We've got rust that's on skin. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my medium orange. Don't forget your paper towel to put your hand on, to rest your hand on. Hi, Kitty. Good to see you. So now you can see how this medium orange is starting to take effect. And this is where I'm starting my, of course, following my light, medium, and dark grayscale. Now, having said that, with the grayscale, there are going to be some areas that you can go ahead and customize to your liking. So what that means is I don't want you to go brain dead. Oh, my eraser needs lengthening. I don't want you to go brain dead when you're coloring grayscale, because you're going to go ahead and make your custom additions. I'm just cleaning off that little disc there. Got a little overexcited there. Now, one of the ladies in our group, Julie Copeland, has been doing this image both in colored pencil and in Procreate. And that is so much fun to see. And she's really done a bang-up job with it. She's still learning Procreate, but as she does these projects, she's getting really good with it. Okay. Now remember, if I'm showing you something and you want to see a little more detail or you want me to pull out, let me know. And if you've seen that I missed an area, let me know. Oh my. Okay, so this is my medium orange. And of course, I'm always happy to swatch pencils for you. Now I'm coming in with my darkest orange. And remember, on grayscale, it doesn't matter which tone you start with first. Some people like to start with their darks. Some people like to start with the light. Some people like to start with the medium. Some people feel like a nut. Some people don't. Oh, let's not do that finger so far. There we go. Now we've got some shading underneath the fingers. So of course I'll address that. Let's see what we got here. And welcome to everybody that's coming in. Please don't be shy about saying hello. Nobody will bother you. Now, I want you to notice, as long as I stay on camera, that I'm working in small little circles. All right, we've got a little piece here. And I also want you to notice that if you feel so inclined, you can go ahead and specifically play with that shading and shadowing, especially around these little squares, because we want them to look dimensional, right? And also, I am taking this orange line and I am extending it, even though the grayscale doesn't call for it. Grayscale is not plug and chug, guys. Okay, now I'm going to come back with my lighter flush color. Hi, Sandy. And this is where we're going to start to blend. Somebody tell me what the definition of a good blend is. Oh man, check this out. Now, the neat thing about this project is we have a lot of room to add our own touches. And that means that I can go ahead and emphasize some shading and shadowing. We can go ahead and do lighter pieces if we want. All right. Let me pull out. Any questions about how I'm doing this? Mamie, what's the definition of a good blend? Or a proper blend? All right, let's get this finger outlined a little better. And while I'm asking questions, what's the number one critical skill that you need to have when you're doing colored pencil? I'm going to do a slightly darker pinkish flesh here. And I'm just cleaning off these little white spots here. So that's right, Mamie, when one color seamlessly disappears into another, that's when you know that you've got a good blend. I would rather see you, if you had to make a choice, I'd rather have you have, if you have to choose one over the other, lousy color choice and top-notch blending, rather than having spot-on color choice and terrible blending. Okay, now I'm adding a little bit of pink here. And a little bit of dark shading. This is my brown that I've been using to do the rest. And the other thing that Annie brought up is when you're coloring, when you lift your pencil to move around, rotate the pencil a little bit in your hand. And that way you're constantly keeping your point sharpened, or sharper, I should say. All right, let me pull out. Any questions? Okay, now I'm going to use my paper towel. And I'm just going to do a little bit of blending. See? All right. And be sure to use different spots on your paper towel, because as you're blending, that wax fills in those little divots, those little nubbies on your paper towel, and it isn't effective anymore. Okay. Let me clean off this nail. That's bugging me. Annie, was that a question that you were asking me about rotating your pencils? You don't rotate them while you're doing the actual coloring, you know, with a pencil on your paper. You rotate them when you pick it up to move around. Does that make sense? Hi, Kathy. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do her nails. Let's see here. I'm just defining around the outside a little bit with my orange. All right, so I have a light, medium, and dark pink. Let me sharpen. So there's my darkest pink. Here's my lightest pink. And then I'm going to come in with my medium pink. And blend these together. Oh, okay, you just had a question. Okay, question mark, that's why. And then I'm going to come back in with my lightest pink. For more blending. Okay, let's do the next nail. There's my dark. Here's my medium. Let me get in closer yet. And then my light. Now I want you to notice that I'm leaving that white streak down the center. And that gives us a nice shiny look. Isn't that cool? Okay, next nail. My darkest chosen color on my darkest gray of the grayscale, my medium, and then my light pencil. And make very, very sure that you have that transition that's a seamless blend between your colors. That is the key to a really good grayscale. Okay, let's get this last fingernail. Who's coloring with me tonight? Or are you waiting until after the broadcast? And if you're not coloring, excuse me, if you're not coloring this piece, what are you coloring? I have people who come in who like to use this time to do their coloring, which is fine. Oh, how cool does this look? Kathy, you're still working on World of Wonder. Cool. I'll tell you, these nails look really cool with that white in it. Okay. Let's get our other hand here. Here's my dark pink. Now, we've talked a lot about Hey, Julie. Oh, Julie, you got your colors. You know what? That happened to me too. My colors arrived a day early. Okay, here's my medium. Sandy's starting a picture out of the 100th book celebration by Kimberly Hawthorne. Which, by the way, I am 2 books away from having 100 books. Isn't that something? My latest one, A Day in the Life of a Nurse, that was number 98. All right, so here's our thumbnail. I'm going to go back with my dark and just blend this a little better. Yeah, I did a book, Beautiful Faces of Color. Oh, Stacy, I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. Hi, Stacy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so there's our thumb. There's my dark, and then my medium. And then we'll catch that. No, Sandy, I didn't do a flip through. I just submitted it to Amazon for approval. All right, there's my dark pink right there. I've got 3 books coming in this week. Annie, I always do a flip through when my books come in. Okay, there's my dark on that last nail. There's my medium. And here's my light. What's today? Monday. My books are either coming in Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember. I have to look it up. Okay. Let me pull out. Doesn't that look cool? Sorry for getting my hand in the way. Okay, let's get our hands worked on. Excuse me, I need to use a tissue. Okay. I may even get to the background tonight. We'll see. That would be cool. All right. Now I'm going to start with my let's see here. I'm going to start with my right hand here, and I'm going to start with my lightest peach. And remember, we're going to put an orange tint on this. Oh, Annie, you got the 3-inch eyeshadow applicators. Okay. Excuse me. You'll like them. I've got larger hands, so that's why I like them. Okay, I'm working on my lightest area here. And we've got that light area working down the wrist. So we'll go ahead and put that in as well. Now again, this is my normal flush color. Then I'm going to come in with my lightest orange. And we'll start detailing this in. Now, I always want you to remember that when you start a coloring, any coloring, that when you start putting your colors in, they're going to look a little wonky. I've seen too many people start a picture, a coloring, and they'll look at it and say, oh my gosh, these colors look awful, it's ruined, da 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 da, and then they give up on it. Don't do that. You've got to do your light, medium, and dark and see how everything turns out. Now, I'm going to put my light orange over my pink that I just put on here. So that means now that this orange has tones of pink in it. And pink and orange actually go together really well. Take your time. Get a nice smooth finish. Welcome to everybody that's popping in. This is the first of the 2 colorings I'm doing tonight. My next one will be Enchanted Forest. Okay, that's my light. Now let's come in with our medium. And now you'll start to see how cool this looks. Now I want to show you guys something. Some of you will be familiar with this. When we're shading our fingers and our knuckles, oh, Julie, it looks like I need a duet using some of these metallic colors. Yeah. I haven't sorted through my colors yet. Okay, let me show you guys something. You know that I do this every once in a while. This is my hand, and I've got it laid out flat. And you'll notice that in the darker areas here, that's what makes my hand look dimensional, right? And then as I bend my fingers, those lines go away. And everything looks smooth. See that? Now I've used this demonstration before to show you guys how to do shading and shadowing. Right? So let me start to bend. See? Bending, 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 bending. Rawhide. And see how we're starting to get the dimension on this. Anything that you color on paper, a darker color, is indicated as being shadowed, slightly hidden away. There, see how everything's disappearing? Now, you guys know that I'm really big on illustration and example and demonstrating stuff. Here you go. I'm going to do it one more time. There you go. So hopefully that'll help somebody. All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you're in this group. Hopefully that will help somebody. Annie, did that demonstration help? I don't know if you've seen it before. Now, notice I'm working my orange down my hand here. Let me work on this thumb here. Oh, that's your first time seeing it. Okay. It's a really good demonstration for shading and shadowing. Maggie, you're back. Thank you. All right, and let's work down this wrist. Oh, make sure to keep the veins a light color. She may need an IV in the future, so you want to be able to see them. Okay. I will keep that in mind. Now, orange and pink make a really nice salmon color. So keep that in mind when you're coloring. Although this picture is a little unusual because, and I'll pull out in a second so you can start to see this, because obviously we've got this lady here part metallic rust, part human. All right, let me pull out. Check it out. Let's get our paper towel. Try to figure out which is the more nubby side. And we'll go ahead and smooth all of this out. See how well that's working? Annie, you don't have to apologize for your jokes. I am having way too much fun doing this picture for you guys. And notice how I'm also smoothing this in little circles. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my dark orange. And when I do that, yeah, I have Kimberly Hawthorne books. I sure do. I'm going to come in now with my darkest orange of my three oranges, my light, medium, dark. And I'm just going to very lightly tint over the top. Now, because of the way colored pencils work, you don't lose your other colors. And I promise you that as you do grayscale and coloring, what I'm doing now will come second nature to you. Now notice how I'm working in the shadow area. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my darkest color here on my knuckles. So we'll go ahead and give them some prominence. Now, I also want you to notice that her hands are more of this orangey color. And is lighter because she hasn't turned to rust yet. Let's get this edge a little bit. I'm just adding in a little bit of pink here, my pinky flesh color, in that light area of the hand. Now, the really neat thing in doing all of this is we are adding layers of color. Okay, this is my darkest orange, so we're going to get those little crevices there to get the folds on the knuckle. Sometimes I blend with my finger as well. What I started to say is, as we're adding all these colors here, we're building up our layers on our piece. And when I get the coloring done on this, there's a technique I'm going to use that I think that you're going to like to enhance blending. Now, if you have any question where shading should go on a hand, look at your own hand. Hi, Brittany. Your hand is the perfect model for doing this piece. Now, if you're wondering why I'm going so orange on the hand, because obviously it's not flesh color, right, is because she's turning into rust. And again, because I started this out with a fleshy color, that flesh is peeking through the rust. Any questions? Remember, guys, look at the context of your overall picture. Okay. Let me pull out. Isn't that cool? All right. Any questions? Now, the reason that I selected such an elaborate piece is the duet. Where I give this away to you free is because I want to build your confidence in coloring pieces like this. Yeah, she is turning into a Borg. Hello, Belle. All right, so let's go ahead and work up our second hand. Let me move my camera just a little bit. And let's get this back in focus here. Come on, there we go. All right. So we start with our flesh color. Yeah, that occurred to me that this was like a Borg issue. That's a neat way of looking at this. Okay. Same sequencing on this. We're going to put the flesh color in first as our base color. And notice how I'm blending it over the nails. Oh, Belle, I'm so sorry. Your sister-in-law passed away. Oh, no. Definitely prayers for you. Belle, was this something that was expected or was it out of the blue. Oh man. How old is his son? So sorry, Belle. Okay, so check out our initial pink on our hand. Oh, Belle, thank you so much. Belle, let me pull out so you can see how this is coming together. I'm putting a little bit of an more orange tint on this other hand I was working on. Isn't this piece beautiful? Beautiful. Well, Belle, thank you for coming in and letting us know so that we can all add your nephew to our prayers. Okay, I was just adding a little more tint here on the orange. Okay. Let's work on this second hand. Coming in with a light orange, which is going to look really weird for the time being. This is where I say don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Maggie, how are you doing on this? Okay, Maggie, I'll take a look at it in a second. Now, again, guys, this is why I don't want you to push the panic button when you're coloring something like this. You've got to trust me when I tell you this. I forgot to put my skin tone pink on this bottom finger. What is the saying? Do as I say, but not as I do. Now, this is a perfect example of why when you color, you come in very lightly. Because it allows you to adjust your tones as you go along. And the other reason that I suggest that you pace me when I color this, because this is the freebie that I give away, it's the duet, that as you do it, it gets you into that habit. Now, I want you to look at the difference between the two hands where I've just put my first orange and my first hand and my second hand. Look at the difference. So we are going from this to this. Okay, this is Maggie's version of it. Check it out. Oh, Belle, it happened out of the blue. So sorry. That looks pretty cool, Maggie. 40 years old, but he's autistic. Gotcha. So this gives you an idea of what we're aiming for. Now, obviously, this one area here isn't blended in. All right, let me lighten this up. Well, it's not that Maggie is really a speed colorist, Belle. It's that she she sneaks ahead sometimes when we're doing projects like this. She gets excited about her piece and keeps going with it. All right. Let's continue with this. Now, I'm going in with my richer orange. This is my medium. Very, very lightly. And again, I want you to remember that the story behind this piece is that the reason her hands are a little bit orangey is because she is turning into our rusty lady. And guys, if you think about it, every piece that you're doing tells a story. And you need to be coloring that accordingly. Oops. All right. Any questions about how I'm shading this? Every single piece that you color, for example, our hugging couple, which I'll get to shortly, that's a story. And what you're doing with your coloring is you're setting the mood. And notice how I'm tinting this in. Don't let your pencils get scratchy. Go back to your blending, which is a paper towel, in my case. And if you're not getting the blending that you want, that's when you can start to use your blending pencil. You can use your finger. You can use your blending stump. All right, let me pull out. Questions, comments? All right. Check it out. Now, when you're coloring something like this, you're doing constant adjustments. So when you've got a dark section over here, which we do, we need to balance out our area on the right. Now the question is, do we want to go super light with this? Or do we want to go darker to merge this color? I've chosen the slightly lighter technique. And I also want you to notice that by taking my paper towel and blending over everything, that is really merging our colors. Any question about that? Okay, I'm going to switch over to our next piece because it's about time. I do about an hour and a half. And if I finish this one up early, then I'll go back to our Rusty Lady. Any questions at all about this piece? Don't be shy. Okay, and again, this is a freebie. I always do a freebie duet. So not only do you get the free piece, but you get some instruction on how to color it. Okay. Let me get my next set of pencils out. And last night, I started to do the background with my lighter blue. All right, Julie, you have a great rest of the evening. Now, the background color I'm doing in pencil instead of eyeshadow or chalk. And the reason that I'm doing that is because some people don't use the eyeshadow or the chalk, and they have problems with backgrounds getting them nice and smooth. And I'm going to show you a really neat little technique for accomplishing that. And the main thing is, when you're doing a large area like this, you want to color in little circles. And that'll give you a really smooth background. All right. And again, this is Enchanted Forest, Elena Lazareva. I used rhinestones on it, and I used washi tape. Now, when you're putting an initial color down like this, is take your time, and again, do your little circles. I think I started to say that this was a color pencil. Too many thoughts going through my head at the same time. And the trick too, other than staying on camera, is to make sure. Share, hello. Is you want to consider this as though you're blending. Because you are. You want that nice, even coverage. Oh, the fortune cookie says, my fortune cookie says you will learn to value of a kind word. Check out the little circles that I'm doing. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick that I stumbled across the other day, and I've been testing it out. And it's working beautifully. Kathy, can you give me 5 minutes? I think you're going to want to see this. I'm going to take isopropyl alcohol. Now this stuff comes in 70% and 91%. This happens to be 91%. And I'm going to put a little bit in the cap. And I'm going to take a Q-tip let me zoom in. Don't knock your open bottle of alcohol over. And I'm just going to dampen that Q-tip. Don't soak it. And I'm going to use the alcohol on top of that pencil. And I want you to notice how smooth this is making that pencil. Now, the neat thing about the alcohol, and you can see it on the Q-tip here, again, don't soak your Q-tip. Is that it's not as dangerous as the other solvents. And it dissipates very quickly. Now I'm rolling this Q-tip. And I want you to see how smooth this is making this surface with this pencil. Check it out. And don't overblend. Now, the neat thing about this, using this, is, again, the alcohol dissipates very quickly. It's not too unpleasant. And look how smooth that is. I mean, it is ridiculously smooth. And the other neat thing is, once this dries, it dampens your paper a little bit, obviously. So I gotta let that sit. Once it dries, we can go back with the pencil and we can continue to color on this. And I'm running my finger over this, and this is so ridiculously slick now because all that pigment has been pushed together. Save your Q-tip, you know, just like your sponge tip applicators. Don't throw it away on a one and done. Now, what that alcohol does is that it breaks down the wax in the pencil, and then when it dries, you don't need to use a hair dryer. It's not that wet. Let it dry naturally. Now, so far, I haven't run into a pencil brand that is problematic with the alcohol. And again, all you're doing is breaking down the pigment. You're mushing it together, the alcohol is, and then it's drying. Paper does not crinkle. This is cardstock. Now again, this happens to be the Color pencil brand. It's pretty smooth, but we still have our little oopsies in there. Let me get that pencil dandruff off there. And Kathy, that's the next thing. This rubbing alcohol blends the colors together beautifully. And I'll be showing that when I add additional colors onto this blue. And Kathy, I'm glad your mind went there, because that's the point that I wanted to make. All right. Let me pull out. I mean, this is so, and see, now this is perfectly dry. I'm going to turn this. You see how this is a little bit rougher because of the natural streaking of the pencil? Well, Kathy, I don't want to keep you up. So back with my alcohol. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm turning this Q-tip as I'm doing this. And it doesn't take a lot to get this blended in. Do the blending and then stop with the Q-tip. And I'll tell you what, this is as smooth as a baby's behind right now. Oh, okay, Kathy. Brittany, that'll do it with a cat. Any questions about using this alcohol? And the neat thing is when you go back over that area that you used the alcohol on, see, now we've got a very blended and slick area. That really looks cool. So 2 uses for this alcohol. I don't think hydrogen peroxide is going to cut it. But short answer, no. So, 2 uses for this alcohol. The isopropyl alcohol. Number 1, to give yourself a very slick and blended surface. And number 2, which I'll show later on when I add additional blues to this sky, is blending different colors together. And that's where Kathy's mind popped to right away. Now, see how I've got a little bit of a blue divot right there? The alcohol will get rid of that. Now, when you do this, you've got to make sure that you've got really good coverage on the paper with your pencil. And don't forget that I'm also turning my pencil. This is really important on these bigger areas. That way you've got even wear. See how I'm blending these edges? That sounds pretty cool, Brittany. Check it out. Let's get this upper corner here. Yeah, I'm going to, Annie, I'm going to get a separate piece of cardstock. I'll experiment with that tonight. Okay. Let me get these little areas in between the green, and then I'll go back with my isopropyl. Now, these color pencils are already blending well. And again, I want to thank Belle. She contributed a $50 Amazon gift certificate to the group. And then I had a benefactor contribute the rest. So I was able to get the large set for you guys. All right. So these Color pencils are really nice and smooth. Now, I'm still going to use my same tip on my Q-tip. So my other end is clear. Oh, it's a gorgeous blue. Yeah, it's actually the sky blue. The 080, it literally says sky blue on it, which I thought was kind of funny. The 520 set, Brittany. Now, you got to be careful around other colors with this alcohol, because if I'm not, it's going to pull this green into the blue. Good night, Kathy. And again, I'm turning my Q-tip as I do this. So I get even coverage. And you don't need a lot. Check it out. I mean, it's ridiculously smooth. Yeah, I'll let you guys know about the hydrogen peroxide. So what do you guys think of this so far? Kathy, I'm glad you stuck around for this. All right. Aren't you guys glad you were here tonight to learn all about this? Domino? No. Come on. Yeah, you could use this alcohol instead of using the blender pencil. And the thing is, using the Q-tip and the rubbing alcohol is not as aggressive on the pencil on your paper. Anytime that you use a blender pencil, you are really being aggressive with the pigment. Now, the other nice thing about using the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, is that once it dries and you add more colors, for example, like I'm going to be doing with this sky, you can use more rubbing alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol. Why am I using rubbing alcohol instead of a blender pencil? Well, number one, because these areas are so big. And number two, because a blender pencil is the most aggressive form of blending. That's why sometimes you use blending stumps instead of the blender pencil. Because, Brittany, the blender pencil is shoving the pigment into the paper. It's forcing it into the paper. Whereas the isopropyl alcohol is breaking it down and blending it into the paper. When I'm doing my blending, I do my blending I'll do it in steps. For example, I may use my finger first. That's the least aggressive. And then you can use a blending stump if that's not working. Then you can use a paper towel. My blending pencil is basically my last resort. Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't recommend brands of blending pencil. It's a tool. Why use a hammer when you can use something that's not as aggressive? I'm not saying that blending pencils are bad at all. I'm just saying that it's better to use a gentler method. It's degrees of gentleness on your paper. Let me put it to you this way, Brittany. You want to be as gentle as possible with your pigment. That's why some people prefer using mineral spirits instead of a blending pencil. All right. So here we go, just a little bit of this alcohol. And smoothing this out. Again, watch your other colors. I accidentally got a little green on the first side of my Q-tip. chemical blending, such as using the isopropyl alcohol, is a gentler way to treat your pigment. It basically melts it together instead of having to physically do it. So I'd rather use, in this case, I'd rather use the chemical blending, the isopropyl alcohol, than the physical pencil. Does what I'm saying make sense, guys? Now, if you've never used alcohol before to blend your pencils, the isopropyl alcohol, do it on a test page. Play with it. Yeah, between mineral spirits and the isopropyl alcohol, I would choose the isopropyl alcohol. I'm guessing, Brittany, that yes, there is some kind of chemical in those Derwent blending pens. I don't know if it's alcohol. I don't know what it is. I have mineral spirits, and to me, using this alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, is a kinder, gentler way of doing this. Good night, Sandy. Now, again, these color pencils are laying down beautifully. I almost feel like I don't need the alcohol, but I wanted to show it to you. And anywhere on this page now that I've used this alcohol, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. It's just slick. Or I should say smooth. And it creates a great surface to color. Does everybody see the benefits to what I'm showing you? Yes, I have a blending stump. Based on the feel of the pencil, the blending stump is not going to give me the smooth blend that I would want. And remember, when you're filling in a large area, and see this isopropyl alcohol, as I'm showing you, is great for large areas. Okay, the Derwent blender pens are filled with an odorless mineral spirits. There you go, there's your answer. Now, see how this is looking a little scratchy? Not much, because it's the color. I'm going to come in with my Q-tip and my alcohol. And smooth this out. Again, don't oversaturate saturate the area. And don't do a lot of rubbing with it. Do just enough to smooth this out. And given that I didn't use the rubbing alcohol on the bottom part here, I'm going to go ahead and smooth this out as well. Okay, now let's catch this little blue area underneath her chin. We'll get that smoothed out. And remember, the trick to applying this alcohol is make sure that you have good coverage with your pencil. Think layers. All right, let's get in between our kissy face here. And at this point, based on how well this is going, I prefer the alcohol blending over the mineral spirits. Okay, and let's get this tiny area now between the forehead. And now I'm getting this area behind her head. Again, using my circles. Let me get that little bit of dandruff off there. So how many of you are going to try this using the isopropyl alcohol for your blending now that I've shown you this? And again, wait until you see what happens when I use it to blend colors together. Any chemical should be used in a well-ventilated area. Again, notice how I'm back blending. We want a nice uniform coverage. Now, hi Stacy, welcome. Stacy's been lurking. And Belle, I appreciate that if you're talking to me. Now, I've got this little red line in here. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and I'm very carefully going to scrape that off. Now, remember, you're scraping away the paper when you do this. So you may create a little bit of a rough spot. So be careful. Belle, are you talking to me? What does what look like? I'm not sure how I got that red on there. Although I must say I'm wearing red nail polish, I may have somehow transferred it. Okay, check how I'm back blending. Over my blue line here. We want to get this as even as possible. Now, I always recommend when you're coloring that you periodically do a background like this with pencil. And that will help you learn how to apply it smoothly and evenly. Maggie, you still hanging with us? Oh, let's see. I'm going to use my little stick eraser here and clean this off. Are you guys learning something tonight? Let me get some water here. Whoops. Excuse me. Honestly, Belle, I wouldn't do that. If you spray the paper with the alcohol, it's going to leave potentially blotches. That's why you've got to use a Q-tip to apply it smoothly. coloring a background with pencil should not be done quickly. Take your time. Let it be a satisfying experience. All right, let me get that little bit of blue in between here. Okay, Brittany, to answer your question, this is a Pentel stick eraser. And then I also have a, let me find it, a Tombow, which is my teeny tiny eraser. Let's see if I can get this in focus for you. There you go. And then I have my electric eraser. All right. Very light coating of my alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. And we're just going to smooth out these pencil strokes. Maggie, what do you think of this? And again, I'm rolling my Q-tip while I'm rubbing it across my area. All right. Now, I'm also going to use my alcohol here on my lower left-hand corner. I had put in this blue. Before I showed you the idea with the alcohol. Okay, and let me pull out so you can see what's going on with this whole thing. Isn't that beautiful? Now, when you use this rubbing alcohol, be sure that you let it dry thoroughly before you do anything else with pencil. Let me erase out one little spot here. I've got a little teeny tiny spot here. That I want to smooth out. What does it look like blending stone or stump? Okay, Brittany, take care. You can use your alcohol with a blending stump. That would work as well. Again, take your time when you're doing your background with pencil. Let me brush that. Again, notice how I'm back blending over that where I ended my blue. We're doing our small circles. Check it out. right, hold on. Got a hand sharpen this. Oh, does that look cool? Okay. Now let's go ahead and use our Q-tip. No matter how careful you are with your pencil, you can end up getting strokes. And this blending will help smooth that out. Now, when you apply your alcohol, you can also use your finger as well to smooth out. Keep in mind that that alcohol is just simply breaking up the pigment. And then blending it together. Of course, make sure that your fingers are clean. Annie, you still hanging with us? All right, let me pull out. Belle, what did you miss? Oh man, look how beautiful that background looks. All right, let me just wipe up there. Here's what this looks like now. No, I didn't show blending stump. I'm not using it on this. I don't know about you guys, but this tonight really flew, didn't it? Oh, you wanted to see a quick example of how to use a blending stump? I can do that. Thank you, Stacy. All right, let me flip over on the back of this paper. So let me go ahead and put a color on here. Now, see how this is looking a little rough? And what you want to do is here's a blending stump. This one happens to have a little blue on it. So I'm going to use my little sanding tool here, which comes with some sets of stumps. And then you want to take your blending stump, which is paper. It's like a rolled up paper towel. And you use that stump. I'm going to do half of this so you can see. To literally push your pigment together. See that, Belle? Blending stump is also great for when you use chalk on your paper. And if your color doesn't quite blend, this is where you would come in with a blender pencil. And finish off the blending. See, and you can see the difference between this side, which was blended, and this side, which wasn't. That's how a blending stump works. There you go. All right. We've done good tonight. Let me flip that back over. Now, the difference between the blending stump and using the alcohol is by using the alcohol, it breaks down that pigment and lets you push it around and make it softer looking. And instead of having to use a blending stump, all I have to do is use a Q-tip. That's what makes it work so beautifully. Any questions about that? You are most welcome. I misunderstood your question, Belle. I thought you wanted me to use the blending stump on this, and I just wanted to stick with the alcohol. Okay, we got a lot done tonight. demonstrated a new process to you and way to blend. We got more work done on our Rusty Lady. Share, this is it's sandpaper, which is basically stapled to a little paddle. And what you do is you take your blending stump and you rub it across that sandpaper, and what it does is it cleans off the stump. See? It cleans it off. It literally scours that off. And then I just use my brush to clean it off and then clean off the surface where it fell on the table. Come on. Share, does that make sense? Those little paddles are available in bulk on Amazon. Okay, guys, calling it an evening. It's that time. We got a lot done. Demonstrated some blending to you using isopropyl alcohol on this background, and you can see how smooth that is. We are in good shape. Okay, guys, have a great rest of the evening. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you would do me a favor and click that up button. Good night, Annie. Good night, Kitty. Maggie. Please click the like button. Stacy, good night. We got a good do. All right, guys. See you tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Guys, love on each other. That's what we're known for. Take care, everybody. Yeah, Stacey, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope to see you more often. Okay, guys. Have fun. And if you would share this link, I would really appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye.